evening, y'all. I hope everybody is doing good. Welcome to everybody coming in. I'm going to introduce myself as Shades of Grey. I am very nervous. I chose to record this versus going live. I kind of wrote it out a little bit, so if I sound kind of robot-y, that's probably why. If Consuming is in here, big shout out to her. I am a rambler. I will ramble on. I will lose my points. I will go off track. So for at least this one, to introduce myself and kind of talk about what my channel is about and what I hope to see and all that good stuff, I kind of wrote this one out a little bit. I cheated a little bit. So hopefully, but do not get it twisted. That does not always mean I'm going to stay on track. Like, none of this is written out. So that's where I'm at. Like I said, I'm going to introduce myself for now as Shades of Grey for many, many different reasons. One of them just being the topic, adoption. Of course, there is just more than myself that I have to worry about. And then, respectfully and all that good stuff. So kind of until I figure out or I'm comfortable with saying my name and maybe coming on screen, I feel that maybe we'll get there. Another reason is just selfishly, I just want to see if people are going to throw me to the gallows yet. And maybe after that, I'll feel more comfortable with showing my face and telling my name and all that good stuff. But for now, yeah. And another reason is I have another community that I run. I kind of started during the time of all of this. It's a true crime community. I was always behind the scenes, and, a bunch of families and a group of people said that, let's do this live. Let's go on live. Let's start the page. So I did. And it was kind of at a time where after all this, I didn't know who I was. I looked back on it, and I even people that know me would watch a video and say, who is that? Just be yourself, they'll love you. And at the time, I didn't know who that was. So, and it shows. So I've taken a break from that, but another big fear is maybe that people hate me over here. I don't want to ruin things that are happening over there. And I hope that this is also a way to get me back into that. So there's just been a wall up, and I feel like God's really telling me that I have to do this before I can do that type situation. It's been a battle. So yes, welcome. Thank you for being here. I hope I don't scare everybody away too much. But I chose the name Shades of Grey for reasons too. You can call me whatever though. Gray, Shades of SOG, crazy lady over there. It's all relevant. It's okay. But I picked the name to remind myself that no matter how perfect someone's life looks, everything is, so black and white. I bet you they have a gray story. The journey that it took to make that life look so perfect. I chose the unpopular way to spell gray because my story is just a little different, I feel. I am 34, married for 10 years on June 2nd. Together we have 2 children, and my husband and I placed our 3rd child with his parents on June 10th of 2021. So he will be 3 tomorrow. And I am so excited to see the updates. Since I found out the moment I was pregnant with my 3rd child, until now, it's been it's been a journey. Would be an understatement. It took me every bit of 7 months to come to terms with it. I was battling myself. I was battling with God trying to tell me, or I was battling with what God was trying to tell me and make that decision. As serious as a topic, and it may be triggering for most, I am a silly one. I use humor as a coping mechanism. I laugh at myself all the time, and it's how I break the ice. So, by all means, do not be afraid to laugh. There is nothing more I would love than to see you laugh, make you laugh, and just make this as unawkward for everybody in the beginning. It's just how I roll. It's just how I do. Sometimes it's either laugh or cry. In these past few years, it's been a lot of both for sure. From the time I found out I was pregnant, I started unknowingly and then ultimately knowingly isolating myself until I just stopped leaving my house altogether. It turned into about 2 years. I describe it as my safe bubble that turned into my prison. I tell people, take the time, but do not get stuck there. I got stuck there. I went from this social butterfly to I don't even know how to talk to people or walk up to a group. And it's crazy for me. It's crazy. It's mind-boggling, but it happened. So I think people that have been so nice. Since then, I've been slowly coming back into life. That did not just stop because I did. I'm trying to figure out who I am, because I wouldn't say that I'm different, but I'm not the same either. As much as I want to sit up here and say this is why I made my channel, I am not quite sure myself. Like my bio says, whether we believe in God or not, we all have this voice. And that voice for me has been driving me crazy with wanting to come up and talk about it all. Since about 3 months after the adoption. And all of this we will get into more. But at the time, I joined a few birth mom support groups. I lost a lot of my support by then, and I was just so lonely. I found out very quickly that even with us making the same decision, my story was just not that accepted. I learned a lot in these years, but it was after that experience I felt like God was like, okay, now I want you to go talk about it all. And I'm like, hard pass, bro. No, I'm good. I'm good. It's cool. I'm good. We know, I did it. We're here. It's good. I'm good. It's good. So I did what I usually do. And I took it upon I did it my way. I made a private group. So that way, I can control who could come in. It was a safe space, no bullies, all that. I made this channel. And boy, did I come talk about it all. But I talked about it from a very hurt and angry place. From just a magnitude of, and we will get into all that. But I deleted it all. And I started asking God why. And I have not had peace since. It has literally been a battle between him and I. And, but I think I'm starting to see what he wants me to say. I'm not sure I like it all too much, and I'm scared as shit. But if I could guess from what I've learned, and I hope for this channel, I hope that people remember that it is not our will. It is his, that it is and has always been his plan, not ours. And that plan is probably not going to look like anything anyone else has planned for you, that it may not look like the plan that you have for you. And I hope that we remember that if we truly want to be lights. We have to remember this. I hope that the little that I have talked about my story, people respond with, my God is not a God to be feared. He is loving. He is merciful. He is forgiving. He is all of these things, but you don't fear him. He's not fear. He's not one. He doesn't work like that. And my response to them is, whew, then you have never had the whole wrath of God come down on you. You have never heard a direct demand and then straight up ignore it nope, nope. And God be like, okay then. Because if you did, you would not be caught saying that. I hope that through all of this, people remember that. When I looked up and I asked God why, and I told him, listen, Lord, we both, I can't do this. We both know I can't do this. And he replied, I know, and that he had a plan. I was angry. Whew. I was very blindsided by the feeling of agreement. Like, I cannot even begin to tell, the things that I said to him. I was so angry that I spent the next 7 months trying to prove him and myself wrong. And I very much believe the things that I went through was him trying to show me something I am not quite sure I will ever fully understand, but it was enough for me. And all I know is that once I looked up and I said, okay, Lord, enough of this. I am ready to listen. It all stopped. Every single thing from then led me to where I needed to be. Not what I wanted to do, but what I needed to do. And with that, I hope people begin to see and remember just what true blind faith is. I'm not talking about the little things we listen to throughout the day, the easy things that you're like, no, but okay, I'm going to do it. And I'm talking about that one thing when you close your eyes that you feel with everything in you, you need to do or say, or whatever it is for you. It may not be clear, but it's there. And you shut it down because you do not know what the after looks like. But I'm talking about when you take that step anyways, right off the ledge. That's the one I'm not. I just do not think we talk about the leading up to and what happens after enough. Because if you're anything like me, you think just because you followed his plan and found this faith, life just automatically gets better. Like you get a pass. Like, okay, we just went through this, so it's got to be easy from here, at least for a little bit, right, Lord? Oh, no. No, those are the hardest times, the after. Because then you're like, now what? And all of it's new territory. You're new, your heart's new, your eyes are new, you see things new. And it is scary. You kind of feel like you're back at square one again. But even if you do not believe in God, I hope you stick around. Because like I keep saying, whether you believe or not, we all have that voice. We all run from it. And at the very least, it takes an enormous amount of strength and courage and faith in yourself to follow through, especially when the world doesn't seem to understand. It's not for the world. It's for you. And I will tell you that every day if I need to. I have learned that I am not the typical birth mom story. Everything about my story is a little different. I hope that through my story that a lot of how I feel and where I stand gets explained, a clearer picture. But it is a little different. From finding his parents to the hospital stay and everything afterwards, especially how I feel about it all. I feel like there's a certain narrative that comes along with being a birth mom, and everything about my story strays from that. 2 words that I kept hearing throughout the process. Anybody who heard me speak would say it's very beautiful, but it's very rare and very, very unique. It wasn't until afterwards I found out just how very unique and rare it was. I would be lying if I said that the gap I seem to fall in scares me a little bit to talk about. I have also learned that there are so many opinions, studies, and ways people think things should be done. There is a lot of very valid pain being pushed on to others. What scares me is that there are people who want adoption abolished completely. I don't know what I would have done if if there hadn't been that option for adoption. And that says a lot coming from where I started out in this whole thing and what I went through to be able to make that decision. And again, I will get into all of that. Just like CPS, foster care, heck, health, child protective laws in general themselves, they've been taken advantage of. But adoption itself is not the issue. Change is the issue here. I believe between stories like mine and stories like theirs together, we are proof of that. And in that, we need boundaries on all sides. I feel that regardless of how we feel about abortion, since it's overturning, I think we will start to hear stories that sound similar to mine, becoming a little less rare and unique. So if I'm going to tell it, then I'm going to tell it all. A lot of it is not pretty, but the ending is beautiful. Looking back on things like the way I grew up and the things I went through, I was like most of us probably asking why. Why did this happen? Or why do I have to go through this? I don't know about Ja, but I never got an answer. It was just blank. Like I went through all of these awful things, but he was still there at the same time, just chilling. I felt him putting me in this just enough safe bubble. I never understood why. Well, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you see it, it was going through this that answered a lot of those questions. I believe that all of those moments in time gave me the awareness that I needed so badly to be able to make the decision that I did. And more importantly, go about things the way that I have. I can look back on a lot of it, not all of it, but a lot of it and say, okay, and connect the dots. So I'll be going to all the way back and talking about some of those moments. I understand fully that many of the things I will be saying will trigger some. I am in no way saying, hey, this is the way. All I'm saying is this was my way, my experience, and maybe my naive hopes. What I can promise you is that there is nothing that you're going to say to me that I have not said myself in the months leading up to making the decision that I did. I've had some of them said to me by my own parents. So I assure you that though I may cry, it will not cut as deep as that did. I just hope to bring a new perspective and maybe new questions and awareness for many things, including my faith and what led to it. My bottom line is I hope that people hear these stories and take away exactly what they need to be able to truly listen from within. Whatever their situation is, the awareness, to recognize it, to pay attention to it, and to try to fight like hell to follow through. After praying and asking God why on earth I have to come up here and talk about it all, I feel like these keep coming back to me, these points. And I think that these are the things that I hope people see through my story. All I see is one big warning label. Dear Lord, have mercy. I hope I get it right this time. I need some peace from it all. I will be coming back on just to start by telling the story of finding out I was pregnant through the whole adoption. Just a brief story. And then I kind of want to go back and pick it apart, and elaborate from it. It'll just be one big elab after that. Just kind of the topics that arise from it. I just feel like a lot of it needs its own videos. So I feel like that's where this is going. So I think tomorrow is his birthday. And I think tomorrow night I will post a video on just the story. So look out for a video called Not Another Birth Mom Story. I truly thank you guys for listening. If you're still here, thank you for listening to my Shades of Grey ramblings, and I hope you stick around.